Now let us try to solve a little bit more complicated problem. In this problem, you have to write a nested loop to print the pattern with the star in your keyboard. So what you have to do, your program should ask the user to enter some number of rows, and then based on the number of rows, you have to print the pattern like this. For example, in this program, if the user input is 4, then you have to print this pattern. That is, in the first line there will be only 1 star, then there will be, in the second line there will be 2 star, then in the third line there will be 3 star, and fourth line there will be 4 star. And how long will it go? It depends on the user input. Since the user input is 4, it stopped at 4. If the user input was 3, it would have been stopped at line number 3 in here. If the user input is 5, you have to print another line with 5 star. So something like that. So the basic pattern is, in the first line 1 star, line 2 2 star, line 3 there are 3 star, line 4 there are 4 star. So here is the next a little bit complicated type of nested while loop. In here, basically the loop control variable of the inner loop depends on the value of the loop control variable of the outer loop. So let's explain this while solving the problem. So let's start writing the first one. So here there are, like, let's say 0 1 2 3, there are 4 rows. So first, actually you have to ask the number of rows as an input from the user. So let us write down that. So let's initialize int rows. So here let's see out enter the number of rows and followed by cin rows. So here the user input the total number of rows. In this case it is 4. Now the next part. So here basically, if you can distinguish the problem, you can see there are two different parts. One loop is incrementing with the increment in row, and the other loop you have to design to print all the star in the columns. And here, how many columns of star will be there, that depends on the number of rows. So let's try to write the program, and that will clarify the thing. So first loop, we will try to construct each row. So the first loop is for the row. I am again using for loop, but you can try it using the while loop also. So for, let's say, int count row equals 1, count row is less than equals the user input, which is rows, and then count row plus plus. So this is the first while loop. This while loop is corresponding to the number of rows. So as many number of rows the user will input, it will iterate that many times, whatever will be inside. So now for every row, let's try to see what is happening. For every row, you have to print a number of stars. For when the count row is 1, then you have to print 1 star. When in the next iteration, when the count row will be 2, you have to print 2 star. In the next iteration, when the count row will be 3, you have to print 3 star, something like that. In that case, what you have to do is, let's say the next for loop, which is the nested one. Here I am taking count column, which will actually print the star. So from where it will start? It will start from 1. How long will it print? It should not print any specific predefined number. Rather, it will change with this count row. So for example, let's say count row is less than equals, this is the count column is less than equals count row. Then count column plus plus. So this is my logic. Now if I just print the star here, so let's say this is Cout and then star and semicolon. So what is happening? For each row, it is printing the, for each row, the column is iterating that many times and it is printing the star. So for the count row 1, that is for the row 1, it is iterating just once and it will print 1 star. Next time when the count row is 2, it will print, it will again start from 1, the column will start from 1 and it will go until 2. So this will print 2 times. So let's see what happened. If I just run this program, well, there is some kind of error. Let's see what is the error. So let me see what is main expected primary expression. So let's see what is happening over here. So, oh, I'm sorry, I have just missed this quotation. So here it is asking me for the number of rows. So let's enter 4. And if I just print, it printed all the stars. But what is the problem in this code? So here all the stars have been printed in the same row. So that's not what I want. So what do I want is, after printing all the rows in one column, I want to print a line break. So this will be Cout endl over here. So now if I just run it once again, now you will see, let's say 4, and if I just do this, it printed all the lines. Okay, in the first line there is 1 star, second line 2 star, row 3 there are 3 columns of star, and row 4 there are 4 columns of star. So now just try to understand this logic, what is happening. So for the count row is starting from 1 and it is going until rows. So for the row numbers, it is going for like count row 1, count row 2, count row 3, count row 4. And for each row, it is tracking the columns also, and it is printing that many columns of star, which is equal to the count row. So this is in line 1, it is 1 star, in row 2, 2 star, in this way. So sometimes it may happen that the condition of these of the loop control variable of the inner loop, in this case count column, depends on the loop control variable of the outer loop, that is count row, and based on that you have to design the condition. So this is the code for this problem, and please try to do it with while loop also. I have used the for loop because it takes less space, but you can easily do it using while loop also.